Well, obviously there is someone that I look up to and learn from it in many situations. And what is for me outstanding is his passion. I think for how long he's been in the game and in the same club with the same players, how you still have that handle and that capacity to transmit such an energy and willingness to win. And then, yeah, it's a very tough environment that we live in, and to keep convincing players, you have to be extraordinarily well. I don't know him personally, but everything that I heard about him is that he's so good at doing that. That's the reason, one of the reasons why you are able to sustain at that level.
He's been linked with the Premier League on numerous occasions. Is he someone you'd like to see come to the Premier League?
He's going to get tougher. We have enough and super good managers here, so I don't know. That will be completely up to him. If one day he wants to experience that, what I can say is that what I've seen and after analysing the team, how well they are coached.
Just reflecting on your last 3 games in the Premier League, there's 1 point from those 3 games last season. You've got 9 out of 9 this time. What's changed and what lessons have you learned, not just from those games, but from last season?
Well, we have to obviously get as much information as we can and understand the reasons why we dropped at some points there, and then try to implement them. But to be fair, sometimes from a draw to a win, there are details and things that have to go your way. But it's true that the team shows a different kind of maturity, threat, and probably conviction at this stage. But it's still very early. We have to do it now for another 30 games, and that's going to be the objective.
You say it's very early. The bookies have already made you the favourites for the title. Do you embrace that? And do you think you are the favourites now?
The only thing that I embrace is when I see the team, the energy, the temperature, the commitment and the quality that they can deliver, that it gives me that conviction that we can go all the way. But that's it. That's just a feeling that the next day you have to prove it, the next training session you have to prove it, and nothing else, and we cannot be busy thinking about those topics.
Thank you. Simon Standard?
Okay, just on carrying on with Simeone, when you started here, did you look at the way Atletico, how he sort of moulded the club's culture and his image, and you took from that something you wanted to do when you tried to mould the culture here?
No, I think I got that done more through my experiences and my beliefs, and especially my understanding of Arsenal and this football club I am experienced here, because I think to put a different context to this one is extremely difficult, and at the end I think you have to be authentic to your belief, your way of dealing with people, especially, which is the most important thing when you talk about culture, and slowly, yeah, you have an idea and you have to, after through that, sometimes change a little bit the trajectory to understand what is the best for the club.
I just wanted to ask you one on the defence. Obviously the numbers have been incredible this season. We've seen Gabriel Heinze, who joined in the summer. We see a lot of the warm-ups and working with the defenders, very animated. What's he sort of brought to the defence this season, and what is he like as a coach that he's added to your setup this year?
Well, I think that's something very, very collective with all the coaches, with the players, with their commitments as well. And Gavi added something different, that willingness to will, I think. And now we've seen that obviously through his career, that experience to win and to elevate somebody's level and ambition and drive to the highest limit. And he's extraordinary at that.
Tom, Football London?
Hi, Mikel. Of course, one of your main title rivals at the weekend failed to win, Liverpool against Manchester United. Do you ever notice on the training field after one of your main rivals has failed to win that your players perhaps have a bit more of a spring in their step during a training session?
I haven't noticed that, but obviously there is a lot of narrative afterwards. But that's it. I mean, every game in this league, it's a must-win and a very difficult game to win. And we all, I think, very appreciative of that. So you don't get carried away with any of that.
And just on Diego Simeone as well, when you come up against a manager who's been in place for such a long period of time, does that in any way make your preparation for perhaps what you might expect from them easier? Or because there's so much data and so much evidence, does that in some ways make it harder to prepare for a game?
Well, on this one, I think the hardest thing is the time that you have, basically a day when you can't really do much to prepare that. Obviously, understanding and the time that we have spent to analyze them and understand that. They have evolved as well for the team that they were probably a year ago to now, and how they can change as well in relation to the context of the match, which is something very specific for this team. And in order to after prepare the best way, you want to give them everything, but how you're able to simplify the information and make it as concrete, as clear as possible, for being in the best position to implement what we want to do tomorrow.
Arsenal's victory over Fulham extended their lead at the top to 3 points, but there's a familiar rival lurking just behind them.
It's never an easy one against Arsenal, defending one of their corners. Saka with that one, and it is the desired result for Arsenal and for Leandro Trossard. They are back in top and there to stay for this weekend. Another victory, another clean sheet, another goal from a corner.
And that's another step, having that mindset and that ability to win this kind of matches against a really good opposition, a really difficult place to come.
And peering down to see changes afoot, but here go Manchester City with O'Reilly and Haaland! When they need a goal, they turn to him. Created the space delightfully. Savinho taking it on now, and Haaland again!
The vibe is different because I'm not 6, 7, 8 years. I'm tired. I know Pep. I know everything. The new one is fresh, open eye. Everything is completely different.
Now, Charlie Austin is here until midday. Should we have a look at the supercomputer then, Charlie? It's Opta's supercomputer, and it calculates the probability of the results in the league to give a prediction of the outcome of the season. They say Arsenal have a 54.5% chance of being champions, so significantly more than Manchester City, who are 0.1% above Liverpool, and Chelsea are in there as well with 4.6%. So very much looks like it is Arsenal's to lose, Charlie.
Very much so. But I always think Man City, you can never not count Man City, because ultimately Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world and the best centre-forward in the world, plays up front for them. So you can never cancel them out. I thought it'd be closer, but arguably it is Arsenal's to lose. They've been phenomenal since the start of the season. The questions still come, can they get over the line? We're yet to see that, but what a chance they have now. The biggest thing for me is we talk about needing a centre-forward, talking about needing number 9, need that. It's not the situation. They have the best defence, arguably, in the world.
And with Manchester City, at the start of the season, people were thinking that they weren't favourites. It never used to be like that. You used to say, Manchester City will walk the league. Why were people thinking that, and are people starting to change their minds?
I think people were thinking that because how dominant Liverpool was last year, the summer Liverpool had, the players they brought in, and the way Arsenal was, and everyone said, Arsenal fallen away, they haven't got enough to go and win the league. So Man City almost become the third team of it. But you can't take Manchester United out, Man City, out of the equation at all. They have, arguably, the best striker in world football. We talk about a one-man team and all this. It's Erling Haaland. That's what he's there to do. He's commented on many times saying he wants to touch the ball 5 times in a game and score 5 goals. He is an ultimate goal scorer. So for anybody looking at the Manchester City team, they know he is the main man. He is the goal getter for them, and that's what he does week in, week out.
At the start of the season, who did you predict as champion?
Liverpool.
And have you changed yet? 8 games in?
8 games in to say change. It looks like it's going to be an uphill challenge going on the way they have because of the way they're conceding goals. So for me, Arsenal are the front runners. But the stumbling block is, I know Arsenal fans won't like this, is until they actually and eventually do it and get over the line, the question mark will still be there.
Let's get the fact with you. It was an awkward fixture, safely navigated on the weekend, and your lead at the top is now extended. Are you growing in confidence that it's going to be your year?
I was quite confident since the start of the season, to be honest. I think we had a great transfer window. I think we addressed key areas that we needed to address. And we know what this defence is. It was just about if the attack can click. We needed more goals. We needed to add goals to the game. We had a Gyökeres. And we've seen that even if he's not the goal getter, if he's not the one scoring the goals, that the goals can come from around the team. I think we've had 10 different goal scorers so far in the league this season, which is the most of any team. If it's not coming from open play, it will come from a set piece. And we're not just creating chances from set pieces. People look at that Fulham game and say, right, they won 1-0, it's a set piece. They created enough chances to score goals in open play. You know, Saka had a few, Gyökeres should have scored. You know, there were chances. Calafiori had a goal a goal ruled out for offside. If it's not coming in open play, it seems that set pieces, that's the way it's going to go in. But I think we just look quite complete at the moment. You know, at no point, I know it was tough in the first half, but at no point in that game did I think that we weren't going to go on to win. And if it is a fine margin and we find it through a set piece, I trust us not to concede. So, yeah, it's looking good. I'm confident, but we just got to, keep our heads down, keep getting points on the board and keep going.
Yeah, looking good. But Aston, in terms of Manchester City, are they answering some of those early season questions?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about three sides in the title race in Liverpool, Arsenal and City. Three sides that came into the season under different circumstances. Liverpool were Premier League champions. They went and added two of the most desired players in Europe in Wirtz and Isak to a title-winning side. Arsenal, you could argue last season, I know sometimes we say it's a mentality issue with Arsenal. Really, they were just missing a centre-forward to score more goals, and they went and addressed that in the summer and bring in Viti Gyökeres. City are in a totally different circumstance last year. We had our Ballon d'Or winning midfielder, our best player, pretty much injured for the full year. We didn't know how he was going to come back this season. There's question marks over the defence. We had lots of injuries there and problems. Our captain left mid-season as well, and we also had to go out and replace Kevin De Bruyne, probably one of our best players in our history. So that was a big summer for City to try and sort that. That is why we're not considered favourites. I think we've addressed a lot of our issues pretty well. I wasn't so confident going into the season. I think a sign of someone like Gianluigi Donnarumma has really sort of changed our expectations as fans. He's already loved massively by the fans, and he's a goalkeeper that brings that pedigree of winning mentality. You feel safe with him there. I think that it is still a three-horse race. I know that Arsenal are sort of, at the moment, you could say, running away with it a little bit. There's questions over maybe how sustainable scoring set pieces every week is, and if Gyökeres is going to be the man to step up and score the sort of goals that Haaland is. But at the same time, you could ask questions over City of how sustainable is it that Erling Haaland scores all our goals. I mean, our second top goal scorer in the Premier League is Burnley's centre-back Esteve, who scored 2 own goals, and that is a bit of a worry.
But Aston, you can say that's a bit of a worry, but that's not a surprise, right? That's not a surprise. But I have to pick you up on what you said regarding Victor Gyökeres coming in at Arsenal and them adding a goal scorer. Well, yeah, they tried to add a goal scorer in there, but ultimately he scored 3 goals in 11 games, and one of them he scored a brace against Leeds. So that, unfortunately, is not that side. Christian, you can see that on there. That was a narrative. Arsenal needed 9 to get over the line. For me, as an ex-goal scorer, it's almost, I can see what strikers do and bring certain things to the game, but ultimately you are only judged on goals. Now, you as an Arsenal fan, are you happy with the way he's performing for the team, or are you disappointed because he hasn't scored goals? Now, I know that's a tough question because you are still winning, but is he still doing enough to warrant a starting place in the team?
I think he is. I think there's been some good performances. Like you say, you're judged on goals. I think if you asked him, he will know more than anyone. He hasn't scored enough, and he's had chances. Like you say, that the chance on his left foot against against Fulham on the weekend, he should be burying. There's been a few other chances. I think the Olympiacos game in the Champions League, he could have scored a couple. Was unlucky, hit the post for Martinelli's goal. There is also another world where. Look, this is maybe in hindsight, but if we get that penalty against Newcastle, which should have been a penalty in my opinion, and he takes it and scores it, he's on 4, right? If Saka gives him the penalty in the game where Saka took the penalty off him, he's on 5.
Saka's not giving the ball. Saka's on the pitch. He's not giving the ball away.
But if we get the penalty against Fulham and he takes that as well, which I think should have been a pen, he's on 6. It's a completely different narrative. But at the end of the day, I don't care. As long as we're winning, as long as we're getting 3 points every single week and every single game, I don't care. He could be getting, 5 goals, but we could be drawing 5-5. I'd be disappointed. If we're winning 1-0 and he's not scoring, and we're doing this at the end of the season, lifting up a trophy, I don't care how many goals he's got. I know he's come in to score goals and be that goal scorer, but I think if you ask a lot of Arsenal fans, they're happy with his contribution to the team. He's pulling defenders. He's allowing Saka to be one-on-one a lot more, and Trossard or Martinelli on the left to have a lot more space in those wide areas. So he's doing a job for the team. I think we're happy with him. We're not comparing him. And we're top of the league, so, we don't need to get on his back.
Well, Aston, someone who hasn't got a problem scoring goals at the moment is Erling Haaland, as you know, and you've already mentioned that. But how worried are you if he was to get an injury? Because, like you say, your second top goal scorer is Maxime Esteve's own goals.
It is an issue in the side. I think that is something that the fans were worried about going into the season. We know that last year, like Doku and Savinho, our wingers now, are really creative, but they've got maybe 3 goals between them last year. Savinho's finishing is an issue. I think that seems to have carried on going into this season. It's not something he's worked on. Maybe it just clicks from at some point. Doku's looking better than he ever has done. But again, putting the ball in the back of the net is still a bit of an issue for him. I purely think it's in terms of getting players in those positions. I think if we get Doku and Savinho or Oscar Bob or Phil Foden scoring again, that will help City massively. But if Erling Haaland does get injured, it's going to be Marmoush up top. He's another player I think can get a reasonable amount of goals. He's shown it at Frankfurt. He showed it when he joined City midway through the season. I suppose the only issue is, at the moment, I don't see where Marmoush fits in that City side because he's not going to play on the left instead of Doku. And I think with the lack of goals outside of Erling Haaland, maybe Guardiola's going to have to figure up a way to sort of find a space for Marmoush in that side, because without the goals, City won't be able to keep up with Arsenal and Liverpool. If Haaland gets injured, then we're in big trouble.
Yeah, but you say that, Aston, which I totally understand, and rightly so, because he's the out-and-out goal scorer for the team. But if he does come out and Marmoush goes and plays as a number 9, or anybody goes and plays in that number 9, the players that Man City have and the chances they create, you're going to score goals. That's what I can't get out of it. Erling Haaland scores them goals because of how Man City created them, but also he's a world-class finisher. But the goals he scores are in between the posts. So whoever goes in that, you're not going to replicate it to be the type of finishes because you're not Erling Haaland. But the chances Man City create, they create 10, 15 chances a game. Good chances, not half chances, clear-cut chances.
Yeah, we definitely do. And I don't doubt that we will score goals. I don't doubt that Doku or Savinho, Marmoush, Foden will chip in with goals. I think the feeling amongst the fans is, especially at the game at the weekend, you're there in the ground and you just think, if it isn't Haaland, who else is going to get the goals? That is one of the rightful worries in the team, is no Haaland, where the goals come from. We will create chances, I don't doubt that, but we created chances for many players in the first half against Everton. Rangers had a great chance, Savinho had an amazing chance, but they don't seem to put them away. Obviously not the same rate of Erling Haaland, but even half the rate would be fantastic, and sometimes it's a bit doubtful.
Let's have a look at your next 6 fixtures then, because we can get a feel for just how tough it's going to be for the two of you in this title race. And Christian, with you, how many points do you expect to pick up from there? And they're all league games of these, by the way. So, Christian, go through yours first.
I'd expect to beat Palace at home. I think it's a tough game. Palace are a very good team. They were on that 19-game unbeaten streak, but obviously that came to an end. They just drawn with Bournemouth, so they're not invincible anymore in terms of not losing games. So I think we can beat Palace at home. Burnley and Sunderland away, you'd expect to win. 2 promoted sides. Spurs at home again, I'd expect to win. They're very inconsistent right now. Sometimes I watch Spurs and I think, this is a really good team. I was watching Kudus in that first half against Aston Villa and thinking, wow, this guy's looks like a top player. And then in the second half, I didn't even see him. So you don't know what you're going to get with Spurs, but at home, I'd expect to beat them. And then look, if we're going to be champions, we should be going to Chelsea away and winning that as well. But they're a good side. I think they're a well-coached side. They beat Liverpool at Stamford Bridge a few weeks ago. So that's going to be tough. And then I expect us to beat Brentford at home. So as long as there's no losses in that, I think I could accept a draw to Chelsea away.
Well, you've got 6 wins.
Why not? If we want to be champions and we want to win this league, we've got to be aiming to win every single game.
Before asking you to come on to you, I'm with you, Christian. As you look at there, other than the Chelsea game, there's no standout fixture in there.
I don't think
that you should get beat. And if it was
Chelsea would be tough. If we that, fair play. Look, they're a good team.
Of course, but
apart
like
from that,
you said, going to be champions, you have to go to Stamford Bridge and win. Same as you go to Old Trafford, you have to win. Like if you're going to go on that thing, it's 6 games, 6 wins. I know it's easier said than done, but that's what Arsenal players,
100%.
management
This
staff.
is the Premier League. Every single game is tough. Look, we went to Anfield this season. It was fine margins. We lost 1-0. But that's probably the hardest game we're going to have all season, and that's out of the way. We drew 1-1 with Man City, who came and set up defensively against us. I expect us to go into every single game expecting to win. If we play well at Stamford Bridge away, we come out with the draw, then it is what it is. You keep it moving. As long as you're winning your home games and you're winning the games you're 100% expected to win, then we can go on and win this title.
Christian, let's have a look at your fixtures then again, and you go through them, because at the moment, if Arsenal are going to win all 6 of those, you've got to win all 6 just to still be 3 points behind them.
To be 3 points behind. It's going to be difficult. I mean, looking at those fixtures, there's 2 games that really worry me, and surprisingly, it's not the Liverpool one. It'll be the Villa away game and the Newcastle away game. City have got not the best of record at Villa, and I know they've found a bit of form now recently, haven't they? So I think that'll be a really difficult one on the weekend. But like Christian saying about Arsenal, if you're in a title race, you expect to win all those games. I think City need to win all those games to keep up with Arsenal, because I do expect, looking at those fixtures, Arsenal will win all their games. St James's Park is one of, I think, the hardest fixtures to go on and win. I know Arsenal did it very late on this year. It's not an easy place to go. The atmosphere there is always rocking at St James's Park, and they get right behind the players. They play very football, the midfield putting in tackles. It's not a nice place to go. I think that'd be the biggest test for City. Liverpool at home, I think the chances are it'll be a draw. If I had to predict now, I'd say it was a draw between City and Liverpool. But now is the time to sort of take an advantage on Liverpool. If they are out of form, if their heads are down, if there's problems around the fullbacks that people seem to be really picking up now, then I think that is the time to sort of go and beat Liverpool. But there's plenty of games before then for Liverpool to pick up form again and look like they are back to the side they're going to be. It only takes a few Isak goals to say they're back, and Vert's finding his feet.
Yeah, Charlie,
this is
go on.
This is no disrespect to the teams that we're playing, by the way. Like even Sunderland away, they've had an incredible start to the season. I've been very impressed with Sunderland. You know, Granit Xhaka, arguably the signing of the summer, like what he's doing. You know, Arsenal fans know about Granit Xhaka. But, you know, I'm just looking at these games and thinking, if we want to, you know, build up a bit of a gap at the top and we want to get ahead, we have to be winning most of these games.
Charlie, you might have noticed on those fixtures before the international break, Arsenal play before Manchester City. After the international break, it switches and Manchester City play first. Does it matter to a player? Do you want to be first? Do you want to see what the result is and play second?
Well, it's both. If you want to be the player, you want to get the result, get the right result, win the game, and go on, throw the ball into the opposition court and say, go on then, we've done our job, go and do it. And I think City will need to, and it works both ways, because City will need to win to go, right, go on then, we've done our job. Arsenal, now it's up to you. But Arsenal will be like, well, if you drop points, we've got to take full advantage of this. And I think, like Christian said, both teams, and you look at the next 6 fixtures, you're almost going, right, if we both want to compete, City are chasing Arsenal, but if Arsenal want to keep going forward, they've got to win games of football. And like you said, respectfully to the other teams that are out there, Christian, in the teams that you're playing against, if Arsenal want to go and finish number 1 in the league this year, that's 6 fixtures there that they're looking to win them all.
All right. Well, Christian and Aston, thank you very much indeed. It's certainly exciting.
It was a big smile, and there is a narrative, because Arsenal are winning games, they win them with clean sheets and they win them late on.
Yeah, the set plays are obviously crucial for them, aren't they? I think they've added that to them. It's a little bit on how much they rely on that, to be honest, of the free play. We're talking about Liverpool being a bit more expansive and scoring more goals, really. When it's effective like they're getting at the moment, then you obviously certainly can't knock it. And it's another string to the bow. They've been doing it for some time now. They've got players. I really like the squad, actually. I think they've got a really good balanced squad and options throughout the team that can see them through the season. Like Mikel says there, it's still very early and it's extreme week to week as it goes, but at the moment they're doing the right things.
So since the start of the 23-24 season, we've talked about this before on the show, that goal is the 37th from a corner, and that is 16 more than any other club in that time. And they're astonishing statistics.
And every set piece you watch, you think, wow, how can you defend that? I mean, it's very, very difficult to defend these goals that they're scoring. It's not like they're getting lucky. They're practicing them. They're hard to defend. Their delivery is absolutely incredible, both sides, right on the money every single time. I mean, Arsenal are a very, very good team. They've been a good team for a long time. I've often wondered over the last 2 or 3 seasons why people sort of crib them, why they say, oh, it's Arsenal, they'll come second again. I mean, Arsenal have got more points than any other team in the last 3 seasons. They got to the Champions League semi-final last season. Everyone's saying, oh, if he doesn't start well, he's under pressure, Mikel Arteta. I mean, what? They're playing against Manchester City, they're playing against Liverpool. These teams are spending fortunes and got incredible teams. I mean, this team is seriously good, and it'll take a good team to beat them for the league this season. But that's been the case for a long, long time.
What's the difference you see in them now, though, compared to maybe a year ago? Mikel Arteta said then, we manage games better.
Yeah, but it's evolution. It's not a huge difference. As I say, the top point scorers in 3 seasons have not been doing a hell of a lot wrong. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, they're going to win the league now. But they've been this good for a long, long time. So, you know, I don't know why people have got this or had this downer on them in terms of their quality? Or
Probably because of their squad depth, Michael. Because
maybe,
what Michael's
Steve,
talking about now is...
Every team.
But we saw when Saka and Odegaard went out last year, they couldn't cope, could they? When
No.
Saliba went out the year before, the points they lost and the ground they lost. What Michael's saying now is they were more of a rounded... Well, Odegaard's out at the moment. No one's talking about it. The captain.
But they're still the top point scorers in the last 3 seasons. They're still, even with all these
they didn't win the
things
league.
you said, they didn't win the league. But you keep doing the right thing, you will win the league. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And, you know, I truly believe that. They've had a really solid 3 years, and you name a team, apart from Leicester, that actually just comes from nowhere and wins it. I mean, Liverpool have only won a couple of Premier Leagues in the last 10 years or something. How many times have they come second and second and second? Man City, they didn't just win it. They didn't win it. This is what happens in the Premier League. It's a hard competition to win. You've got to come second, you've got to come third before you can win it. This is the process of getting better. And Arsenal have done it the hard way. They've actually been very unlucky not to win a big trophy along the way with the points totals they've got to, how far they've gone in cup competitions. They've been really unlucky. Keep doing that. You're going to collect trophies. Absolutely. And they're going to this season, the way they're going.
And is it a mentality thing? Is it learning to get over the line, that final margin, that final hurdle?
Yeah, I think Michael makes a really good point, though, in terms of little steps to get there, and you've kind of got to experience what it feels like for a title run, and you've got to experience it. You might have to miss out one or two to know what it takes then to what do we need to do better next time, or how do we deal with it? Did we deal with it right mentally? Did we approach it right? Each individual player takes a bit from that. But the consistency's been incredible. There is that final step in some ways it's the biggest step in the end, and there's chapters through the season and starting well, going through Christmas, getting to the end of the season, and then actually watch your squad look like who's fit come March, come April at times, who's what form you're in. Is the momentum with you? Is it not? That comes later on in the season, but consistency-wise and balance-wise, they tick an awful lot of boxes. It's that last one that is small, but actually is the biggest step really in the end. That they are as close as they've ever been for quite some time.
And it will come. You can't keep playing like this for years and years and years, like they've done. You can't keep doing this and not get trophies at the end of it. And well, I'm pretty sure if they don't win anything in the next couple of years, then I'll look stupid, won't I? But I genuinely think they will. They're just a very, very strong team.
Just a quick one on the set pieces and delivery Michael's talking about. If you're the opposing manager facing Arsenal this weekend, how do you plan for that? Is it sometimes just impossible to stop with deliveries like that?
I mean, it looks quite simple what they do. They overload one part of the goal, really, and commit a lot of players into one. There's obviously a lot of detail that's going into that when you dissect it. I mean, we haven't got time to do that, and you could spend ages doing it, but little blocks and movements, and it's really choreographed unbelievably well. But again, Michael says the point of the trust that the delivery is just on point, whether that's front post where they overloaded it to a point there's 4 or 5 players front post. They kind of balance off Trossard at the back post because they want to score from the first contact or flick. Worst case scenario, you make the goal bigger and get a tap in. But the delivery's on point, so they'll either go overload the front, overload the back, or stick it right on top of the goalkeeper, which they have done at times, knowing that the delivery is there. So the chances of them getting first contact, whereas if you haven't got that delivery that you rely on, you kind of spread the goal because it might come front, might come middle, might come back. So you end up going 4 big lads, 3 big lads, and we'll spread out. But the confidence and the trust that they've got on the delivery and gives them that you score 1 or 2, you get more belief, so the confidence comes and you grow. And again, talking about the intimidation of Liverpool conceding goals to score, it has a massive factor. Teams now are thinking, oh, how do we deal with that? Like the question
it's like a penalty, isn't it? They get a corner, it's like, oh no, it's like
don't concede a corner. Yeah.
But it's the effect on the opposition as much as themselves as well, because you think, if against it, you think, all right, how do we deal with this? This is going to be a big threat this weekend. How do we? And they get a corner or a set play, and all of a sudden there's a bit of a backward step instead of going, we'll deal with this, no problem. And that intimidation factor is huge throughout football as the league goes on, I have to say.